Alrighty. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic / Known Classic. This is episode number 1412 and Doubleshot number 1306. I have one Marvel trade, one DC trade. DC one, it's going to be interesting because technically it's one issue, but it's a deluxe size. We'll talk about that soon. Alright, first up it is Star Wars, The Rise of Kylo Ren, written by Charles Shaw. Yep, Charles Shaw wrote this thing. With artwork by Will Sneeny, which I believe this guy was the artist for Spider-Man 29. I think he was he was the artist for the recent Spider-Man 29. He wasn't the original artist. That was Rick Lombardi. This was the artist for the recent run, the one that volumes 2 and 3. This is pretty much basically for Kylo Ren. It's kind of in a way his rise to power per se, right after he sort of the way quote unquote killed Luke Skywalker. With these other Jedi Masters, they saw a brief flashback of him with Luke Skywalker, who's got a full beard. I don't really get exactly when in the world Luke would grow a beard for, because if you see the EU stuff, by the time of the last book released, Luke was clean shaven the whole time. The whole thing of him having a beard, that was from The Last Jedi. Actually it was from Force Awakens when he had a beard. Oh yeah, by the way, in this flashback prior to this, he referred to himself as the Last Jedi, which I'm not really sure why Shaw wrote that for. Like he says, oh, I'm Luke Skywalker, I'm the Last Jedi, and referred to as Master Skywalker, and of course they meet up with the Knights of Ren. And this is actually, I'd say about a year or two prior to what happened at the temple. It's not really delved into detail exactly what happened after Luke tried to kill, well, they do open up with that. Yeah. First you have this guy called Ren. Yes, he says he's called Ren, but that's not actually his name. Who the heck he really is? I don't know. The book itself never bothers to explain it. And apparently he's recruiting the Knights of Ren. For some reason. Yeah, and then of course he meets with Ben Solo. And then of course he leaves behind his helmet. He leaves behind a helmet basically for the contact. Just possibility of him joining the Knights of Ren. He gives him an offer to join him, but doesn't fully join him. Of course, he's also telepathically communicating with Snoke. In case you wondered about the telepathic communication thing, that was something they established in The Last Jedi. So, they take a lot of stuff from Last Jedi in here, a movie that was actually mixedly reviewed. So, right after the whole killing the other Jedi thing, what happened with the other Jedi who work with him, I have no idea because they don't really explain that. So he goes off. He goes to meet with Snoke first. Snoke is not dressed in the outfit he wore in the movie. It's a completely different outfit. This actually is before he became Supreme Leader Snoke of the First Order. There is mention here of General Hux. He, of course, doesn't know who General Hux is. So you can presume this is presumably, I'd say, about 10 years prior to events of Force Awakens. It's not clearly stated exactly how much time basically is for that, but this is definitely for the First Order basically started up, so. And before Snoke became the leader of it. So, then he goes off the train with Knights of Ren. Because he was off the train. He basically does join them. And then eventually he does kill Ren himself, becomes the leader of Knights of Ren. And takes the name Kylo Ren because Solo is technically not his father's last name, it was something he made up. Han is a legit name, but his last name is just made up. And of course, he's named after Ben Kenobi. Well, basically, he's named after Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ben was an alias he assumed when he was on Tatooine. I mean, the one thing I at least got praise this book is it's got good artwork here. But the writing here are just interesting at best. It's not exactly an origin story for Kylo Ren. It's mostly put in expansion exactly when he first joined. It's kind of like right after his betrayal, when he was betrayed by Luke Skywalker. Even when he first built the lightsaber, okay. It's almost like Shaw didn't know what to do with this miniseries. That's what it seems like to me. Yep. And lucky enough, he's doing much better with the regular book. And this actually is the last miniseries. As far as I can tell, there's actually a miniseries right now, War of the Bounty Hunters. Part of this was actually technically the last miniseries Star Wars miniseries released by Marvel Comics. You were thinking the last one. What about High Jedi Republic? That's kind of an ongoing series, but also kind of treated as a miniseries. But this was technically the last one they ever released. You were thinking, really? Yeah, really. Now, the cover art here is done by Clayton Crane. Met the guy. Really awesome guy, me in person. Yeah, and here's the interior artwork by Will Seeley, who does an absolute fantastic job with this artwork. It is so freaking good. Yep. I'm going to give this book roughly I'm going to give it 8.5 out of 10. I mean, for a Star Wars book, surprisingly, it's one of the more weaker books for the Star Wars line of books. Yeah, that's a bit of a surprise, though, for all the miniseries done by Marvel, because all of them pretty good. I mean, you probably think Chewbacca might be weak. Well, this one's weaker than that one. It's not bad per se. It's just okay. It does expand upon some stuff, but you don't get a lot of information here. Not really, no. Like, I kind of wish this actually was longer. This miniseries also felt as though when you're reading it, it felt a bit rushed. Yes. And also, it kind of felt as though when you read these 4 issues, you don't get a complete story by the time basically this ends. I mean, ending you seem like a complete story. No, there's still a lot more story you could tell here. But no, it had to be 4 issues for some reason. Like, could this been ongoing? No, not really. I could see this easily stretched out to a 12-issue maxi series because there was still a lot more story you could tell here. But no, it's 4 issues. Yes. Another mini-series, aside from the Cat the Phasma one, where it felt rushed. The second one I've read, basically, where I read and reviewed, where the mini-series felt rushed. At least that was done by Kelly Thompson, was done by Charles Shaw, the guy who writes the main Star Wars book, and he does this. Yeah. And it's interesting, though, when it comes to the sequel era, that only Poe Dameron gets an ongoing series. Yeah, where it takes place mostly for Force Awakens, explaining what he was up to. Kylo Ren gets a mini-series separate from Force Awakens. And there's also, well, the only one I can think of was Captain Phasma. It's basically what she was up to between Force Awakens and Last Jedi, but that was it. Yeah, that's kind of the strange thing when it comes to sequel trilogies. Not a lot of stuff basically could explore a lot of stuff for this era. Like, 1 ongoing series and 2 mini-series. And that's it. Alright. Moving on to something a lot better. This is Detective Comics, issue number 1027, Deluxe Edition. This has a whole lot of stories in here. Also, love the interior. This is the hardcover edition. It has all like the classic logos for Detective. Yeah, this one here is from the 2000s. Let's see. This one's from the 90s. Yeah, that's actually the 90s logo of Batman. Let's see. This one and this one from 1970s. Let's see. This one I believe was from the 70s as well. This one right here, that's a classic 30s logo. This one I believe is from the 40s. Yes, from various different eras. Yeah, 70s went through a bunch of different ones here. So, there's a lot of stories here with this one. Yeah, like in the case of 1000, we have multiple stories. Now, there's actually one story in here done by Peter Tomasi, who at the time this book came out, he was the regular writer of the book. Now it's Marco Tamaki, who was previously writer of She-Hulk and X-23. Now she's writing comics. Unknown why they swapped writers for. Yeah, a lot of the books basically for DC Infinite Frontier, where like a lot of them switch books. Like, it's kind of strange. So all the books except for Batman and Catwoman, except for those two, everyone got brand new writers for like no reason. Okay, first up, it is Below Black. This was done by Peter Tomasi and Brad Walker. Oh.